the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. Check, we Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairing, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death, I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. One eye open like Betty Wops and fine to these Urkels that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow, who can't cry for spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness is really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing, son up, baby.
Hey, yo, Scotty, you going crazy for this one. We see what you're doing, we salute you. Hey, let's get it started. It's Backpack Capital One. What's in your wallet? Got a call from my man A. Scott. I said I got it. Love that you highlighting all of these black colleges. Try to pay me for doing this. Look, bruh, if you don't get off my line with that foolishness, voice of the SWAC, pull up where you at, no cap. If the Brody is speaking the soft facts, my advice, tune in to every show. Captain Petty, but we know that the sergeants are with the smoke. Speculate, just tell me what is we doing. Get into it, okay, look, I'ma say this and keep it moving. My boy Scotty, man, he offered the least. Black grad, paying college, I'm glad that he called me. Walking, cause we all been taught that talk is cheap. Even primetime knows Scott for the HBCU streets.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday! Listen, I'm gonna get it. Listen, if you tuned into this show on a replay, because I got my Bama's live, and you can like the stream if you live. Go ahead and do what you do, but watch my shoes. If you're watching this off the replay, and you click the thumbnail and says, does Abrion Scott, that is my name, does Scotty, Abrion Scott, have the documents in hand, signed by the commissioner, signed by ESPN? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I got the original and I got the amendment. So from here on out, put some respect on my name. So when they say, who is SWAC?
Baby.
Ho, me. Talk to him, Dion. Who? I wake up motivated. I wake up motivated. I wake up motivated. I wake up motivated. I wake up motivated.
I wake up trying to bless somebody, inspire somebody.
It's Monday. You know, I got time today. I got time today. I got time today. I got time today. Oh my God, I got time today for all the naysayers, for all the people that were like, oh, what the contract look like? What the numbers at? What the numbers at? I got the numbers. It's like the lottery over here, baby. I got the numbers. So we gonna get into it today. Oh, we gonna get into it today. And I'm telling you, all I can say is Dr. McNugget, if you still have a job before the football season, something is wrong. Because I'm going to make it my damn mission to... J-O-B. You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Hey, you about to lose your job. I am making it my ultimate goal in life to get Dr. McNugget fired for malfeasance. Because I'm telling you, once it gets to me, you already in trouble. Let's start the show. Let's start the show, shall we? Woo! It is Monday. Happy Monday to all you lovely people. Hope you tell somebody you love them. All right. But listen, the word for today is job. J-O-B. Job. We're going to break down this contract. We're going to break it down. Oh, we're going to break it down today. We're going to break it down today. All right, let's get it. Now, this is my question to all you Bamas watching in the chat and everything like that. In 2019, how much would you have valued the SWAC? How much would you value the SWAC? That is a question. That is a question to all you. If you had an opportunity, because at that time it was only 10 schools. All right, it was only 10 schools. FAMU was over in the MEAC, Bethune-Cookman didn't suck. I know it seems like a long time ago, but it wasn't that long ago. All right, so Bethune was over there not sucking, and FAMU was in the MEAC. What would you, people in the chat, think about this? There was 10 schools. What would you have paid each school in 2019? That's the question. That is the $1 million question. Because I want to know how you view yourself, right? It's okay with how other people view you, but how do you view yourself, right? Because when I came into this space and I said your football sucked, everybody was like, oh, Scotty, we got a brand. Oh, Scotty, we got this. Oh, Scotty, we got that. So what I'm asking you all is to, in the chat, out, what would you have paid each individual school? Would have been 20,000 per school, would have been 30,000 per school, would have been 100,000 per school, would have been 500,000 per school. What value would you have placed on the SWAC? Don't worry, you got time. Don't worry, you got time. I got time today. You heard what Dion said. I got time today. Oh, I got time. This live is going to be for however long I need it to be to get my point across. Because I come on here every day and I'm the bad guy. I come on here every other day and all I get is, Scotty, all I get is criticize, criticize, criticize. That's all y'all do to me. He ain't SWAC. He ain't graduate from HBCU. He ain't black. He ain't this. He don't like the potholes in Jackson. All y'all do is criticize, criticize, criticize. So I'm throwing it back into your plate. What would you have paid the SWAC in 2019 per school? Would it have been 100,000? Would it have been 200,000? Would it have been 20,000? Would it have been 80,000? Whatever your number could be. 1 million per school, 2 million per school, whatever number you wanted. Take that number. If you decide to put it in the chat, take that number, right? Keep it, hold it, put it in your hearts. And let's see if your SWAC commissioner felt the same. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now, this is supposed to be the guy who's in charge of the whole conference. This light-skinned Bama is supposed to be in charge of the whole conference. He's supposed to do what's best for the conference, for everybody, including Valley and UAPB, not just for Southern, not just for Jackson, even though we know those are the names, Grambling. We know those are the ones that hoist the SWAC. They're the pillars of the SWAC. But you do right by all the schools, right? So, okay, I got at least $1 million. Okay, I like Brian's 10 mil per school. Okay, I like B. Lewis approximately. You see, he's approximately 350. You know what I'm saying? 10 million per school, 8 million. Okay, that's fair. That's 8 million per school. Okay, I see them. 5 mil. I like some of these numbers. Okay, some of y'all got some value. Okay, some of y'all got some value. Now, before I show you these contracts, because, we going to get into it, baby. Just so you know it's official like a referee with a whistle. So you know Scotty ain't blowing no smoke. What this say? What this say? Like my grandmama say, what that say, boy? Boy, what that say? Agreement date July 2019 is between ESPN Incorporated on the one hand and the SWAC Athletic Conference on the other hand. Listen. Oh, where my gospel? Oh, where my gospel? I need to go gospel. You know, they call me a lot of things in my life. They called me a deceiver. They've called me a hoe. They've called me a tall black man. But what they could never call me, I said what they could never call me is a liar. What they could never call me is a liar. Because I stay with it. Your boy stay with it. Okay, you can call me a lot of things, but a liar is not one. But a liar will never be one, all right? So, let's get into this contract, shall we? So, as we just so happen to mosey all along to the full details of this contract, Mosey on down. Let me get to the good part, because that's what y'all care about. That's what y'all came to see. Y'all came to see the good part, right? Y'all came to see the number. Scotty, what the numbers look like? That's all you Bammers came for. You ain't come for no wishy-washy or the mosey-wosey. You ain't come for all that. You came for the numbers. But before we get into the numbers, you know, there had been this thing called exclusivity. Now, I don't know if you young whippersnappers out there know about the exclusivity, you know what I'm saying, of the monogamy. Now, monogamy is when one man and one woman are together. There ain't no dilly-dallying around. I like my granddad. There ain't no dilly-dallying around. He ain't talking to Moesha, and she ain't talking to John. Now, there have been a lot of folks out there in the HBCU arena. You know, I don't want to point no elbows, Dr. Cavill, talking about exclusivity and how that ESPN had exclusivity with a said conference. Now, when you have exclusivity and you cannot date another conference, I then ask you, why would they have a secondary distributor? Now, if you are not allowed to talk to anybody, you're missing, y'all. I said, if you're not allowed to talk to anybody, why would it then be in the contract that the conference may license men's basketball games and other games for national telecast by secondary distributors? I said it befuddles me that somebody with the title of doctor, with the associate to teach media, would not understand that when the secondary distributor is allowed to do something, how there is still exclusivity. I say again to the people in the back, if said conference was supposed to have an exclusivity clause, the secondary distributor would be nowhere to be found. I say, if it was found, it would say the conference may not. That is the English version of no. See, in Russia, it's niet. In Spanish, it's no. In other, it's nunca. You know, like, I don't know how you read, but I read in English, left to right. And it clearly says, conference may license men's basketball games and other event games for national telecast by a secondary distributor. Now, once again, I said you could call me a many of things. People have called me a reformed hoe. People have called me a jokester. But the one thing you could never call me is a liar. Now, what I will say is that I can no longer speak to somebody else. That is, judge ye not unless you be judged. So I'm not here to judge anybody. But when I say you are misinformed with the title of doctor, does not give you education. Does not make what you say right. In the good book, it says, God can use anybody. God will use a fool to make you look dumb. Now, that's just for the that's just for the folk in the back. That's just a little something for the folk in the back. But once again, you didn't come for that. You came for the word. You came for the numbers. Let me get you to the numbers, okay? Because that's what you came here for. You know what I'm saying? Let's not act like you didn't. So let's move it on down. Let's move it on down, right? And section 4 of this contract with the rights and fees. Now, rights and fees is what they are paying for the information, for the proclamation, for the installation to play these games. It says, in consideration of all rights granted to ESPN, performance of all conference obligations hereunder, ESPN shall pay conference the following rights. Now, I asked earlier, okay, I asked the congregation earlier what you thought value in the SWAC. I clearly stated it earlier. So you came here for the numbers. Let me give you the numbers. Now, year 1. Now, this is in 2019. Year 1, $400,000. Oh, somebody, I'm preaching today. I'm preaching today. Year 2 in this contract, $415,000. Year 3 in this contract, $430,000. Oh, it gets better. Oh, it gets better. $445,000 in the next year, $460,000 for the next year, and $475,000 for the next year. Yeah, go ahead and screenshot that and put that in whatever SWAC group you want. And make sure when you put my name beside it, you spell it right. Because what I say today, oh, come on. J-O-B. Oh, that is my goal today. That is my goal today, to get that Bama fired. Back to the numbers. Now, the funny thing is, let me take this down. The funny thing is this. You know, they can say, Scotty, you know, a lot of people would say, Scotty, these are falsified documents. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're speaking on. That ain't the right documents. And I say, I say to the people, you can call me a lot of things. I've been called a jokester. I've been called a tall black man. I've been called a hater. But do not ever call me a liar. Here we go. Now, you know, because you got to pay it to a bank account. You got to pay it. You got to pay it to a bank account. What does that say? That's the bank name. That's the account name. And just for good measures, because I don't want Dr. McNugget or his sidekick, Cloney, Andrew Roberts, to strike it off of personal stuff. That is the bank that they bank at. That is the conference name. And that would have been the routing number. And that would have been the accountant number. And that would have been the taxpayer ID. Now, do you think that Scotty should be... I don't think Scotty should have that information. Now, do you? I don't think Scotty should have that information, if I do say so myself. But hey, somebody felt the need to pass this along to me, so I'm just passing it along to you. Okay. So while you out here thinking like Scotty don't got, listen, I'm here to bring all this to your front door. I'm here to bring all this to your front door. Because it's so easy to live in the dark and think stuff is sweet, right? When things are in the dark and nobody knows and it's all he say, she say, and then you have pundits going on platforms talking about what they know, what they say they know, and they don't. And all I do is turn around, get the facts, turn around, and serve it up to y'all on a platter. But I'm the hater. Now, said people are in these meetings with said person who is, you know what? I feel another question coming on. I feel another question coming on. I feel a question of, Scotty, who signed this contract? That's what I feel. I feel a question of, Scotty, who signed this contract? Because Dr. McNugget could have never. Dr. McNugget would never put his name on this. Dr. McNugget would never put his name on this. Now, I'm not, I call him Dr. McNugget. So you guys could tell me whether or not this is the right signature block. And if that ain't even DocuSign, okay? That is ink on paper. That is ink on paper. So I don't, that says commission. Is that with two S's? You spell commissioner with two S's? Hey, babe, do you spell commissioner with two S's? You do? Okay, love you. You spell it with two, you spell it with two S's. You spell it with two S's. So I'm confused about of how many people just so love. What's that book says? For God so loved, the commissioner so loved the SWAC that he felt that in 2019, with 10 SWAC schools, that he thought, gave you a little too forward. The total was 40K. Gave you a little too much in the beginning. Oh, but but the thing about it is this. Y'all forgot something. Y'all forgot. I got the amendment. I got the new contract. Man, y'all, come on, man. You know who you messing with? You know I'm your dog. You know I'm your brother from another mother. Come on, man. I got the new contract. Cause you know how people, you know how black people are. Hey man. What that new looking like though? He had to come back and redeem himself. He got to come back and redeem himself. I got the new contract, the new amendment. I got that one too. Come on, man. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Let me. What this say? What this say? The amendment. What that say? Amendment. This amendment effective July 1st, 2021. Come on, read that. Let us read together. That's what the good book does. Let us read together, shall we? This amendment, effective as of July 1st, 2021. That's with Dion. Amends that agreement dated July 1st of 2019 by and between ESPN. Shout out to Turner Boys. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. And also, if you'd like to become a member of the channel, make sure you hit that link. All right. As one hand in the SWAC Athletic Conference, Southwest Athletic Conference, on the other hand, is by between ESPN and the SWAC, capitalized terms, and used but not defined herein shall meaning set forth of the agreement. All right. So that's the new contract. Your boy got the new one too. But you know what y'all here for? What y'all here for? Say it together. Say it together. Y'all here for the numbers. Let's get to the numbers. Let's get to the numbers. Now, mind you, Now, mind you, before we get into the numbers, you know what I got to touch. I got to touch that exclusivity clause. Got to touch on that exclusivity clause. Exclusivity? The monogamy. Let's talk about the monogamy real quick. Now, this amendment, because once again, we are now 2 years into the deal. Now, my thing is this. If you were exclusive, you weren't exclusive in 2019. You weren't exclusive in 2020. But maybe you got exclusive in 2021. Maybe ESPN says, I can't let you go. Maybe they say that. Maybe they say that. But let's read, shall we? Second distributor. Oh, let's back up. Let's back up. Any entity that acquires from conference the right to telecast unselected games, unselected men's basketball games, or unselected other events on a national basis during the term. The definition of second distributor games is hereby deleted in its entirety and replaced with the following definition. Those unselected football games, unselected men's basketball games, and not selected, let me say, and not selected by ESPN as an ESPN game, and B, telecast by such secondary distributor pursuant to 3.2. The words that are not second distributor games are hereby removed from definition of unselected games in terms. Unselected games, those games that are not ESPN games, unselected games may be referred to here in the connection of basketball unselected events, right? So that is unselected. Unselected. That means I keep trying to tell y'all, ESPN has to make their selection. I'm going to show you in the first, I'm going to go back to the first contract. You know what? Let me go back to the first contract before I show you these numbers. I'm going to go back to the first contract and I'm going to show you where that ESPN they have a certain date that they have to tell the conference of when they've selected their games, right? Of when they've selected their games. Let me get to this section of the contract real quick. Stay with me now. Stay with me. You know I got all the proof in the world because I got the contract. Fox News ain't got the contract. Black College Sports Network ain't got this contract. Dr. Cavill ain't got this contract. Tolly Carr ain't got this contract. Stephen Gaither ain't got this contract. None of these Bama's got the contract but me. But me. But they supposed to be journalists. All righty. Let's read, shall we? Let's read. Football game selection priority and procedures. Each contract year, ESPN should have the exclusive right, listen, to select all football games herein for distribution prior to any other television program or distributor. Each selected football game shall be deemed an ESPN game. ESPN shall notify conference in writing of its selection of the 3 Thursday in all selected Saturday football games on or before February 15th. After such selections, any remaining Saturday football games not selected for distribution by a third party as a part of a local package after February 15th may be selected by ESPN as few as 12 days prior the scheduled date of such football games. So, once again, I keep telling y'all, they do not have exclusivity. They have a first right to refusal. They are the first selectors of football games, right? Now, you might say, Scotty, it says local package. Let me tell you this. HBCU Go does local and digital. I can show you in this contract, if I'm being 100% honest with you, where HBCU Go is actually they're actually in breach of this contract because they show the game digitally. Listen to me very closely. All the local packages that you see that they talk about, I can show you in this contract where HBCU Go is actually in contempt or is breach of this ESPN contract because ESPN says, hey, we show our games digitally. We don't want the next person to show that game digitally. So HBCU Go, in reference to the ESPN contract, is also in breach of said contract. But we'll get to that. We'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. Right? We'll get back to that. Let's go get these numbers, because that's what y'all came for. Y'all came for the, I apologize. Y'all came for the numbers. We know what y'all came for. Y'all came for the numbers. Let's get to these numbers, shall we? Let's scroll on down. Now, now this is the new numbers. These are the new numbers. The rights fees set forth in section 4.1 of the agreement, if you see right here, hereby increases by $300,000 and replaced by the following new total amounts. Now, mind you, this is 2021. Let me set the stage. You know how they be like, let me set the scene for you. Let me set the scene for you. This is 2021. Deion Sanders has now touched down in the SWAC. You have just got done with your spring games. Remember February, March, April? Y'all remember those? March, April, y'all remember that, right? Okay, y'all remember. Just got done with the spring games. And after that, your commissioner, your beloved commissioner that does nothing wrong, that's on the basketball committee, that don't know shit about media, increased it by $300,000. There you go. Read it in week. That's numbers. That's facts. That ain't hearsay. That ain't Scotty. How did you? No, not what I heard. Not what Dr. Cavill told me. Not what HBCU game they lies about. Not what Tally Carr lies about. None of that. What they won't talk about. What they won't do. This is black and white on paper. But I'm not media though. So at the end of the day, your commissioner felt that in 2021, with Deion, you're worth $60K per school. That's what you're worth. That's your value. I want you to simmer on that. I really want you guys to simmer on that. This is the same guy who brags about you being a super conference. This is the same guy who lies about the SWAC Classic. This is the same guy who you big up because he brought you back to the black. That's just the basics. That's just the pure basics of his damn job, is to get you in the black. He walked in to a negotiating table and said, my schools, my 12 schools, FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, Valley, Alabama State, Prairie View, Grambling, Alcorn, UAPB, Texas Southern, Bethune-Cookman, they're only worth 60. Their football and basketball is only worth $60,000 per school. What are your institutions supposed to do with $60,000. I keep telling you, if your head man has no vision, if the head guy has a ceiling, if the head guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, how can you ever get your value on what you're worth? If the person that is leading you, you can call me whatever you want. Scotty, you a hater. Scotty, you this. Scotty, you that. I ask you this. If the person that's leading you only sees your value as $60,000 per school for all of your football content, think about that. They get the boombox, they get the boombox classic, they get the Soul Bowl, they get the OBC, they get that. See, this is why people don't want to talk about the numbers. This is why when I tell you it's a good boy, this whole HBCU media, why they don't allow certain people in certain spots, because it's a good old boy network. You won't say anything bad about me. You won't challenge me. You won't really get the worst of me. You won't really expose me of what my faults are. He's probably a good AD. He's probably a damn good AD, but he's shitty as a commissioner. And that's not, and you could say, Scotty, how you look at what he values you at. This is the guy who was walking into the negotiating table. Oh, you know what? I got another question. Y'all got another question. Scotty, did he sign this contract too? That's what you're asking me. I know that's what you're asking me. Let's see if he signed this contract. Let's see if he signed this contract. Oh wow. Oh, they use DocuSign this time. They use DocuSign this time. Look at the upgrade. Wow, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. They use DocuSign this time. Wow. That's lovely. That's absolutely lovely. Gotta love that. The upgrade in technology. You upgrade $20,000, you get DocuSign. Boy, I tell you, you upgrade $20K and you get DocuSign. That's high quality stuff right there. Woo! That's A1. Let's go a little deeper. Shall we? Now, so basically you got a $20K increase for each school. My only question is, why won't anyone ask him to explain this deal? And what I mean by explain the deal is this, and I'm opening the call lines up too, so please get ready when I open them up. I will be opening the call lines up, so get your stuff ready. Why won't anyone ask him the question, explain this deal to me? Explain to me why you feel that the SWAC is worth $60K. See, that's the real question, because you're the one walking into these negotiations. So I would want to ask him, what numbers are you using? What data are you bringing to this table? What are you doing that you, Dr. McNugget, could consider the SWAC at $60K per school? Because what it feels like to me is he just throwing out numbers. Oh, give us $300K. Give us $300K. Okay. That's chump change to ESPN. What is 300? Listen, I'm telling you guys, let me explain something to you. And business owners and people who are high value earners, and listen, no disrespect to anybody who don't make over $100K. I'm talking about Bamas who are in the millions of dollars. I'm talking about Bamas who make million-dollar deals. Let me tell you, the more money you make, the value, the way you see money completely changes. I'm telling you right now, the more money you make, the way you view money completely changes. So when you have people who are doing million-dollar deals on a daily basis, when they tell you, when somebody comes up to you and say 200K, they be like, okay, cool. All right, when do you need me to, when you want it cash, you want it credit, what you want me to do? But when you got a guy, and let's just take it me. Let's just take it. Just take it. I'll tell you right now. If somebody came up to me and said, Scotty, I'll give you 200K per year, I'd be like, sounds good to me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I got my, if I didn't have my committee behind me, they'd be like, come on, Scotty, man, you worth more than that, man. You worth more than that, man. Look at this, look at this, look at this. They will show you the value. When you have high earners and high value people around you, they will cover up your faults. They will show you your blind sides when it comes to money. They be like, come on, Scotty, that's no. We need to be talking about 100K a month. We need to be talking about 50, 60K a month because of this, that, and the third, what you can do with this. That's how high value earners think, because that number doesn't move them. It doesn't shake them. It doesn't be like, ooh, they don't jump over that. I spend that. I've lost that amount of money. You get what I'm saying? So when you have somebody in a position that doesn't know how to do $1 million deals, and I throw to you 300K, it's like that's hush money. Hey, just shut up. Just shut up and keep moving. Hey, ESPN, you know, this Dr. McNugget in the deal. This Dr. McNugget in the deal room. Hey, man, you know, we just got Dion. You know, I know you've seen the bump in your numbers. Okay. So, you know, I was just hoping that we could kind of come to some type of agreement to, like, maybe you give us a increase. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to listen. I love working with you guys. I love ESPN. The conference loves you guys. You guys have done it so well. We would just appreciate if you guys could give us a little bit more. You know, not too much. You know, we're not too much. But if you could just give us a little bit more, man, we'll really appreciate that. Burke Magnus, the president of programming and original counting. Let me pull him up. Burke Magnus. You know what he says? Oh, Charles. Okay, Charles. I understand. You know, we love to keep the partnership going. How does 300K sound? Does that sound well? Oh, Burke, I knew you wouldn't let me down, Burke. I love it, man. I love it. I love that deal. 300K. Man, you know what we could do with an extra 300K in the SWAC? Man, I appreciate it. Where can I sign, Burke? Well, I'm gonna send you over the contract later today at the close of business. Get it back to us whenever you can. But 300K. We definitely can do that. We definitely be able to do that. 300K, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? We love to keep you guys' business. The reason they love to keep your business is because you're a freaking moneymaker. You're a walking moneymaker. 300K, they made that the first year in the first 2 games of Dion. You already paid them back what they got. Could you imagine all the people that signed up for ESPN Plus to watch Jackson State? Oh, you don't believe me? Okay, you know what? Because I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's blow this up. Number of subscribers to streaming service ESPN Plus in the United States from the first quarter of 2019 to the first quarter of 2023. I know that's hard for you to see, but I read it. Let me blow it up for you, Bammers. Listen, if it's one thing I do not play about is I don't play about facts. I bring you facts. What does that say? In 2021, 12.1 million, 13.8 million, 14.9 million, 17.1 million, 21.3 million. If you don't think Jackson State and Deion had something to do with these numbers, you're freaking bugging. If you don't think that Deion had something to do from them going from 2019, look at 2019, 3.5 million to 2022 at 2020. Come on, man. How else were you going to catch a game? How else were you going to catch a game of Jackson State and Deion if you weren't on ESPN Plus, if they didn't put your ass behind a paywall? How, Sway? How? The only way you were going to catch a game of Jackson State was behind ESPN Plus. Now, let me ask you this. Let me ask you, Bama's, this. If they don't, oh, come on, man. Y'all, let me slow down. Let me slow down because I don't want, let me stop yelling. Let me stop yelling because y'all say I yell too much. The commissioner values you at a $20K increase per school. ESPN values your content so much that they think, hey, if I get the SWAC and put it behind a paywall, people are actually going to pay for it. Now, that seems like value to me, that you feel if I pay for something and put it behind a paywall, I'll get a return on investment. They don't do that to the SEC. They don't do that to the Big Ten. Now, you have the Big Ten network, you have the ACC network, you have the SEC network, but that money goes back to the conference. Let me say that again. They don't do it to the SEC prime games. They don't do it for Big Ten. They don't do it for ACC. But each conferences have their own networks, which their networks have a revenue sharing with the conference, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, the conference gets a piece of that money that they're made off their networks. So I ask you this, how is there no value in HBCU football games when they're willing to put your games behind a paywall? Because a good business model would be that you would put something that you feel is valuable, that you feel that there is a market for. Listen, that you feel that there is a market for so people can buy. You put alcohol stores in the hood because there's a market to buy. You put beauty supply stores in the hood because there's a market to buy. You put McDonald's, you put Burger King, you put Hardee's in the hood because there's a market to buy. You don't place businesses in a market that you don't think can buy. That's why you don't see a lot of Whole Foods in the hood, because they feel that is not their market to buy. You rarely see Starbucks in the hood because you feel that there is no market to buy. So I say again, if there is no market, you would not purchase the rights of the HBCU football to then put them behind a paywall for their consumers to pay and buy. Is this over your head? I want to make sure I just want to make sure we're on the same page with this. Because your commissioner feels as though, now this is Fox News, HBCU Game Day. Now let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, and I'm asking all you Bama's in the chat. If I was to send this contract over to Stephen Gaither, to Tolly Carr is the light skin, Stephen Gaither is the dark skin. Now, if I was to send this contract over to HBCU Game Day, how much do you think that they would ask and request an interview from the commissioner to explain said contract? Now, mind you, you know what? Because a lot of you are new to my channel. Let me show you why I said what I said. Let me go back. And let me go over here. Let me bring this up. The reason I ask is this, because you can have an interview with him anytime you please. So I then ask and say, where are the questions at? Because if you have access to the person that has the answers, see, y'all not gonna like me. Y'all not gonna like me today. If you have access to the person who has the answers, and you're supposed to be the face of HBCU, you're supposed to be you're supposed to be all things HBCU for the people, right? For the people. Where are the questions at? Why has Tolly Carr, a former reporter on a news channel, Stephen Gaither, I assume, with the Winston-Salem State to be a journalist. So I asked both of them, why have none of them done their journalistic integrity to ask the hard questions to said commissioner to get the answers to understand why you only value us at $60K? Why do you only value us at $60,000, Commissioner? Can you explain the math on how you came to the SWAC schools are only worth $60,000 per school? Is that not a legitimate question? I'm asking the people in the back, is that not a legitimate answer or question of why wouldn't the number one source for HBCU content would not ask the head of the commissioner of the SWAC a contract that he signed, that he negotiated, of how you came to the value of $60,000 per school? Call lines are open, 518-263-8124, 518-263-8124. Call lines are
There is
open.
one other participant in the conference.
You know my boy Dre always gonna pop it off. Dre, you live.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, Dre?
Yeah, I'm literally driving to the office. I'm trying to figure out why the SWAC lets him do the negotiating. In every, I'm probably assuming in every big business, you got a third party or somebody. It's like going to court and representing yourself. You could do it.
Pro se, yep.
But it ain't the smartest thing.
Yep.
You know, like, so, like, even with, and, you know, I went to A&T, and we even had a third party do our negotiation. Like, I'm sure the SEC has a third party. Like, it's just not smart for him to be negotiating on behalf of the conference just because he's just not an expert at. That's just not smart. You know, it's almost like you know, even when buying a house, you have somebody else look over your paperwork.
Come
and
on.
you don't look over it yourself.
Come on.
So I don't know. Like I said, it's just bad business to not let a third party, because a third party isn't emotionally invested. You know, they're just not. They're gonna make they're getting paid to make the best deal. So they're gonna say what the best deal is. So if the best deal is, okay, hey, it's not good enough, we're going to free agency, and you know, we're gonna let whoever bid on it, cool. But you know, at least he'll be able to sit there and then if he takes a bad deal, he could put that on. The third party could put that on the commissioner, though.
Yeah.
You know, you can always be like, okay, you ain't listening to him, but this, that, and the other. But to let him make the deals, him and probably some general counsel, that's just bad business.
Bad business, man. Bad business at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to. Appreciate the call, though, Dre. Hey, Monty, coming to you. What's up, Monty?
Hey, morning, Scotty, man. I'm still recovering from the Super Bowl, but I woke up to this fire this morning. I had to jump on. Martin Luther King once said this: the two most dangerous things in America is sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. Those are the two most dangerous people. When you're looking at this contract, this reminds me, this is like a Suge Knight Death Row record deal, where definitely is pimping a SWAC. You know, and I said this a while ago too. If you can't manage thousands, you're definitely not going to be able to manage millions. And I'm just wondering, who is the team behind the commissioner that you signing these bad deals? I mean, it's making all the sense why Deion was like, these Bamas ain't these. First of all, we already know Deion about making that bread.
Facts.
That's clear. I'm out here at the Super Bowl. Deion was everywhere doing these pop-ups, doing this. He, you know, remember we said this a while ago, he would have been a better SWAC commissioner than the current commissioner. And I believe when you have, unfortunately, sometimes when black folks just happy to be in a room, just happy to be in a suite, just happy to be at the game because you're in the box, but not understanding the multi-million-dollar deals. And when you in the suite, you're there for business, not just because you're at the game. Shit like this happens, which is poor business, unfortunately.
You know, the thing about it, and the thing about it, what makes it even worse is you got presidents who ratified this contract. Some of these presidents haven't even seen the contract. I know that for a fact. You got people that got PhDs. You got schools that have a law program that are allowing this to take place. Think about all this. Listen, I'm telling you, degrees don't make you smart. Degrees do not make you smart. You might be smart in your area of expertise, but you're dumb if you think you can do it all. So to me, Monty, Monty, it's just like, when are people going to be smart enough to say, hey, we can't do this. We don't know what we're doing. Let's get some help in here. That's the biggest thing.
So here's the bigger question. Now that you're bringing this out, now it makes all sense why the lawsuit. Because one, you know, when you think about the NFL, for example, all the billionaire owners hire Goodell to to be the face of the league, to do all the dirty work, everything that they don't want to have to be bothered with, but he still reports to those owners, you know.
Yeah.
The thing about it with the commissioner, when you're looking at saying, well, where have you really grown this conference? Where did you really take advantage when you had Deion for a couple of years? Like you were saying a while back, it was so many other things you could have created with that bump alone. The numbers don't lie, because like you said, people aren't realizing, you know, getting behind a paywall. So when you go back and listen to some of the press conferences, Deion was trying to get them moved up to the ESPN 2s and 1s. When you think about the biggest games were on 2, because the rest of the games were behind that paywall, which means people now had to pay just to get to those games.
Absolutely.
You didn't even negotiate a cut of those membership subscriptions that people had to pay. And remember, some of the games, they would stream the game, and then they would turn around and be like, oh, you want the halftime, go to the ESPN app. Now, so they knew what they were doing. All these black folks like the marching band at halftime. And they start putting that on the app. I was sitting there watching it pop on my phone like, oh, wow, I see what's going on here. Mm-hmm. But, now it makes sense why those Bama's being sued, because if the contract, let's say the contract that was being offered by the other media platform was way larger than this, then why y'all with ESPN if your job is to grow the SWAC?
I don't know, Monty. I don't know, man. But hey, man, appreciate the call as always, Monty. Hey, listen, guys, let me break it down like this, right? Because my man Jamie asked a great question. He said, what about the other FCS conferences? And if I'm being honest, doesn't this remind you of like you being in the workplace and people not talking about their salaries? Think about it. I really want you, because you know me, listen, I'm going to bring it to your front doorstep. I'm going to try to dumb this thing down so much. It's literally like you in the workplace and you're not allowed to talk about your salary. So you don't know what everybody else is making. So you don't know the value. Even if the SWAC, well, probably not after the CAA deal, but let's say before the CAA deal, the SWAC was the highest paid conference. Doesn't mean you got your value. See, that's the difference. It doesn't matter what the other FCS conferences are doing. What is your value? You would never go into an office, right? You would never go into a job force and they say, hey, we pay all of our marketing directors $50K. Well, then at that point, you'd be like, this ain't the job for me. That's not my value. So I can't work here. But if you just walk into it because you're so happy to be with this corporation, right? Let's say it's Vogue and they pay all their marketing directors $50K and you're just happy to be at Vogue. So you say, let's go to Vogue. If that's the case, then just say that. If you're just so happy to be with ESPN that it doesn't matter what they pay you, just say that. Just say that. But that does not mean that is what your value is. This is not a housing market to where you're like, okay, right? Because the Big Ten saw the SEC deal and was like, we better than that. We want more than that. Right? And what's the SEC going to do? We better than that. We want more. That's because they know each other's value. They are judging off each other's value. Mr. Sergeant, coming to you. What's up, Mr. Sergeant?
Yeah, my bad. I had to just kind of catch my breath with all this, man. I was like the caller before, I was kind of happy with everything that happened with the Super Bowl, had a good time. And then I woke up to this dumpster fire that you got going on here. And Scotty, thank you so much for bringing it to us. So as a person who works in a corporation and worked at several corporations and consulting for the past 20 years, one of the reasons why people, to go with your example, don't talk to each other about their salaries is when they've been asked not to. But that, in fact, is an invisible form of control that the people in the corporation exert on the people who work there. So I have to say that because I feel like there's a kind of a system of control, and I'm not into conspiracy theories, that is kind of happening because we don't know each other's deals. But let me share something with you that's a little more sinister, like no Vaseline kind of sinister. The commissioner is able to get away with this kind of stuff or his contracts because he's working with presidents at these institutions who are just as ignorant as he is. They don't know their value. They don't know how to read contracts. They don't have attorneys or people like that who know how to read and understand the value. So they probably just sign it without thinking, says, well, I guess he knows what he's doing or he's looking out for us. Where I'm really disappointed is that the ADs at these universities didn't say, oh, we're only going to make $20,000 at the end of this or $15,000 at the end of this. We need to say no to this and go back and ask for more money. And so other than that, sir, I normally have something funny I want to say, but today this is just a really sad thing. I will say this, and in my comments here, this looks like a lot like the contract for the Bayou Classic.
Ha! Ha! Ha!
I wasn't trying to be funny.
Paying to
but
be
go ahead.
No, paying to be on television. What sense that make?
Yeah, just paying to be on television. That's exactly it. Just paying to be on television. All right, brother. I'm gonna get off and get back to work.
All right, Mr. Hardy, appreciate it. I want to show you guys how they have to get out this contract. Okay, I want to show you guys how they have to negotiate themselves out of this contract, so you understand. Because all they literally did was take the contract and then they just added more money, but they kept all the amendments. They changed a few, but not too many that y'all really need to be worried about. But I want to read you guys the future rights and how ESPN pretty much has I want to call it, I call it like a contract slavery type of thing. It's like a mini contract slave. So let me see. Here we go. It's called future rights, right? Here we go. I'm going to show you guys this, and then if somebody calls in, I'll show you, but if not, I'll just do this. This is future rights, right? So this is what happens when you get out of the contract. So I want everybody to understand when 2025 comes around and this contract is no more, what the SWAC has to do to get out of this contract completely. I'm going to read it to you. The conference shall negotiate exclusively with ESPN for a period of 60 days, right? It's called the negotiating period, commencing on a date selected by ESPN, but no later than August 1st, 2024. If ESPN does not select an earlier date, the negotiating period shall automatically commence on the foregoing date. For this purpose, the term events includes any event which is a successor or substitute for the events named in Section 5 above, or which is obviously otherwise equivalent or relevant thereto. All right, let's move forward. 9.2. If ESPN and the conference do not reach a new agreement during the negotiating period, then within 10 days thereafter, the conference must make a written offer to ESPN of their monetary consideration and duration on which the conference is willing to license such rights to ESPN. So literally, what that just said is you can do this. If they do not come to an agreement, so 2025, let me break it all the way down to you guys, because I want to show you how you can pimp this, right? It's a little slavery in it, but you can pimp it. If 2025 comes up, after the 60 days, you don't talk to ESPN. Well, you have to do it in good faith. But in good faith, you don't make an agreement, right? After the 60 days, you can literally, thank you, name your price. You could literally name your price. I want 5 years, 10 million per school. You could name your price. So if you don't negotiate, after the negotiation period, you have 10 days to name your price. You got to listen. You got to go into this thing with all the numbers in the world and ready and willing to name your price. I'm going to continue on. All right. Thank you, OG. All right. With the exception of monetary consideration duration, this offer cannot, hold on, let me say, with the exception of monetary consideration and duration, this offer cannot contain any terms or conditions that differ from those contained in this agreement, right? So you can change the monetary, you can change the duration, but you can't change any of the secondary rights, of the primary rights, anything like that. Okay? So if ESPN does not accept the offer within 14 days after receiving it, the conference shall be free. Let me scroll down. All right. The conference shall be free to negotiate with third parties with respect to a comparable package of events, but not for monetary consideration less than or terms and provisions that, when taken as a whole, are more favorable to such third party than that contained in the offer without first offering to ESPN the same monetary and other terms in such there. ESPN must accept or reject the reoffer no later than 7 days. So listen, so what that is saying is this. In good faith, you have to negotiate a deal, right? If they don't come with the deal, they got 14 days to approve your name, your price. If they don't, you're allowed to negotiate with a third party. But what you are not allowed to do is give a third party, CBS, Amazon, YouTube TV, a better deal, which means less than what YouTube has been, what ESPN. So they can't go to CBS and say, hey, we want to give you all this for $600K. They can't do that because ESPN's like, yo, just give us that deal. We'll take that deal. You can't do that, right? So essentially this, at the end of this term, at the end of 2025, the SWAC has every right after the 60 days of negotiating. If they don't want to negotiate and they can't come to a number, after those 60 days, they are simply allowed to say, you know what? We want $15 million per school. Take it or leave it. Now, mind you, listen, if ESPN says no, and they go to YouTube TV, and YouTube says, we can't do 15, but we'll give you 10. You still won. You still won. If YouTube TV tells you we'll give you $5 million per school, you still won. Anything is better. Anything is better than freaking 700. Anything is better than $60K per school. Guys, this is what happens when you put people in position that don't know what the hell they are doing. You might get mad. You can call me a hater. You can give all of these things. You can call me whatever you want to call me. But at the end of the day, if you're a graduate of a SWAC institution or any HBCU school, and you think that your school and what it produces is only worth $60,000, something is wrong with you. Simple. It's simple. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's not crazy. You know, people love to come on this channel and they'll watch me for my sports takes. They'll watch me because, oh, Scotty going to get on Jackson State. Scotty going to do this. Scotty going to do that. But when I'm bringing you actual facts, documentation that no other HBCU channel has, you won't even get the information and hold the people in charge accountable. Because that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. It's having the information to make changes. Having the information to act. This is listen, other than Bethune-Cookman, this is a nonprofit organization. He is hired by the presidents of your institutions. He is hired and fired off of the presidents of your institution. So your presidents of your institutions are in agreement with this fool that your schools are only worth $60,000. But I'm the bad guy. Scotty don't know what he's talking about. Scotty don't know this. Scotty don't know that. Scotty, he just hating. Oh, Scotty. I'm trying to give you the ammunition to shoot back. I'm trying to give you the ammunition to shoot for the stars. I'm trying to give you the ammunition so when you bust down the door, you can go get people in the room, in the arena to negotiate on your behalf to get the value that you're freaking worth. But at the end of the day, I'm the bad guy. Everybody hate on me. Mr. Sergeant, coming to you.
All right, sir. There's one more thing I had to add. At the end of the day, I don't care what they have to say about Scotty. In the words of Puff Daddy, I don't care what they think about Scotty, how they feel about Scotty. What you all must know and understand, that Scotty is #media. You are doing media. What we are seeing and listening to on YouTube today or wherever we're doing on our devices is what the media is supposed to do. You are lifting the veil of ignorance on what happens behind the scenes, and so that you are shining a light so that we can all be enlightened and we can go forward and we can put pressure on our presidents and our ADs to kick the SWAC commissioner out or kick him in the rear so he can get in line and get us $6 million per school, $10 million per school, but not $60K, man. My first job, I made more money than that.
Come on.
I'm out.
Appreciate the call, Miss Sergeant. Think about that, guys. Think about that. I think somebody said in the chat that teachers. Oh my God, this is crazy. Like when you really break down the jobs that make $50K or $60K a year, and it's no disrespect. Listen, no disrespect to anybody that makes that, because I was making that not too long ago, right? You got people in this chat that make $100K a year. You got people in this chat that make $90K a year. You're telling me they're worth more than the whole. You're telling me they're worth the whole football program of a school in the SWAC? You're telling, oh my God. You're telling me that a teacher, a garbage man, a plumber, an electrician is worth more money than the whole football program at FAMU. Is worth the oh my God. The Boombox Classic. Like, come on, man. I'm gonna just leave it. Listen, you're telling me that the Boombox Classic, that Jackson State and Southern University together are worth $120,000. The football program. You're telling me Jackson State basketball? Because think about it. It's not just $60K for football. It's $60K for football and basketball and whatever other sport that ESPN wants to cover. So you telling me all the athletics, think about that. Basketball, if you talking about, come on, man, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. And how does this Bama still have a job? How does he still have a job? How does he still have a job? That's the real question. Every ESPN, come on, man. Come on, man. ESPN values. Listen, let's call a spade a spade. ESPN is allowed to pick whatever the freak they want. They're allowed to pick whatever the freak they want. So you're telling me that every sports program in the SWAC is worth $60K. That is FAMU baseball, FAMU basketball, FAMU soccer, FAMU football, Jackson basketball, Jackson soccer, Jackson cross country, Jackson football, Grambling baseball, Grambling softball. You're talking about every program is worth $60K. Now, if I divided that up by 6, let's say each school, which I know they have more than 6, each school has 6 programs, or let's say 6 in total. We know it's more than that. That means each individual sports program is getting $10,000. Let's break it down even further because I'm really pissed off now. I am really pissed off. Like I'm just making myself madder. For like a parent, I'm making myself even more madder. So I'm going to Jackson State Athletics. I'm going to go to Jackson State Athletics. Right? And I want to see how many sports they have. All right, let's see here. Teams. They have baseball, basketball, cross country. Let me zoom out of this because it's way too zoomed in. All right, here we go. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I got men's cheerleading. I'm gonna take cheerleading as 1. I'm gonna take track and field as 1. I'm gonna take tennis as 1 and cross country as 1 because they're both the same. So that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. I'm gonna do basketball as 1. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. So I see about 8 sports, right? So about 8. Yeah, because they got softball, softball and baseball. I consider them 2 different things. So about 8, right? So about 8 sports in total. Come on, man. 60K. Let me see, 60. That's $7,000. That's $7,500 per sport. That is $7,500 per sport. And we know that the Olympic sports don't bring much money. So you got to get the bulk of your money with football. See, okay. I'm gonna end it with this. I'm going too far. I'm going too far. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. The deeper you dig into this is like, this is just asinine that somebody thinks this is a great deal. Straight freaking asinine. Listen, guys. People want to talk about a lot of stuff. I'm gonna end this with a soliloquy, and I'm out of here. I'm gonna close the call lines down. I appreciate everybody for watching this. I'm gonna end this on a soliloquy. I'm gonna get up out of here. People talk about a lot of stuff in HBCU stuff. People talk about gatekeeping. Oh, we need people to gatekeep. People want to talk about, talking about other things in which, they're talking bad about the school, or they're doing this or they're doing that. People want to talk about, voting and all those things. People want to talk about HBCUs being underfunded, which they are. Won't deny that. But what I always gone back and said, I have said this since I stepped foot in this arena. I've said this since I've started my channel, and I've been corrected over many times, and I've educated, and I've learned, and I've grown with understanding more and more and more about HBCU culture and the issues that plague HBCUs. But what I've always said from day one, how do you manage what you have? And this has nothing to do with politics. This has nothing to do with gatekeeping. This has nothing to do with being historically underfunded. They are all in their own right, their own issues. But when it comes to this, this is simply what you can negotiate. You've hired a guy that you felt could do a job. You put that guy in a job, and when he came and stepped up to the plate, he struck out. That don't have shit to do with underfunding. That ain't got shit to do with voting. They ain't got shit to do with gatekeeping. That has everything to do with putting the wrong guy in the position to be able to control these contracts, and he failed. That is simple. There's no other answer for this. If you cannot sit back and evaluate and say, this guy failed at said job, this guy has failed, and it would be different if this was one occurrence. He signed the 2019 contract. See, thank you, God. If it was just one time, you could kind of let this slide. He signed the 2019 contract, which put them at $400,000. This is the same Bama who was he was put in a position to change his mistake. He was given a second chance to change his mistake, and still dropped the ball. But see, if that was it, maybe I'll let that slide. This is the same guy who got Jackson State involved in a lawsuit because he didn't know how contracts worked. If that was just it, I would stop right there. This is the same guy who is now being sued for $200 million for contract interference in a lane he's not even in. So once you start checking the boxes off, some of you guys aren't business owners, but some of you guys are in HR. Some of you guys have an opportunity to hire and fire people. Are you telling me if you were working at a corporation and a guy came across your desk and you saw failure after failure after failure after failure that caused your company money, how does he still have a job? Other than you liking him as a person, others saying, He came from a SWAC school. What fathomable reason? And if you want to say the FAMU and Bethune, dog, FAMU and Bethune were going to jump ship sooner or later. They're SWAC schools. They were going to jump ship. That didn't have shit to do with Dr. McNugget. They were going to jump ship sooner or later, especially FAMU. They're SWAC schools. They're Southern schools. But if you want to give that to them, give it to them. Give it to them. How does anybody keep their job after failure, after failure, after failure, after failure? And then how can most of these platforms call themselves journalists if you're not telling the real story of what's going on behind the scenes? You're a glorified mouthpiece. And I don't give a damn if nobody in that space ever talks to me again. If I don't ever step foot on a coaches call conference, I don't give a damn if I never show up at a SWAC media day. I don't give a damn, because what you see at a SWAC media day ain't even real news anyway. It's a glorified pageant contest. That's all that is. Ain't nobody. I had more fun at SEC media day asking questions, because at least they let you ask whatever you want, no matter how controversial. That's on you. So you can gatekeep all you want. You can call me I'm not. You can tell me how not SWAC I am, but you can't deny the facts. Can't deny numbers. Women lie, men lie, numbers don't. Until next time, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to holler. God bless.